Hello and welcome. Today we are looking at the Dongming X12 compact folding drone. This drone highly resembles the Mavic Air. It has a lot of neat features such as auto takeoff, auto land, one key return, and Wi-Fi FPV streaming. So let's check it out. Now the drone comes in this small white square box showing the blue version of the drone right there in the front. And it's from Dongming RC for ages 14 plus, and it's the X12 folding deformation drone. So that's interesting. And right here at the bottom you can see a listing of all its features, such as its HD 720p camera, auto hover, 6-axis gyro, so on and so forth. And right here at the top you can also see the features, or the icon of the features right there, such as the barometer set height, etc, etc, headless mode. Here in the back you can see the same drone but folded or compacted there, and it says pretty much the same thing. Here on the side of the box you can see the transmitter, and it highly resembles a DJI transmitter. And the drone itself resembles a DJI Mavic Air. Here it says folding deformation drone, and that's about it. Here on the side it does show that it comes in an array of colors such as blue, red, white, and black. And it does have 3 camera options: a 640p, 720p, and a 1080p. This one right here is the 720p, 2 megapixels I believe. And that's about it. So without further ado, let's open it up and take a look inside here. So right here we can see the baggie of little accessories here, like the propeller guards, spare propellers, the charger, a screwdriver, so on and so forth. And we've got a plastic cover here. And then on the right hand side here we have the transmitter here. Pretty cool. And it has the folding antennas, which are I believe just for aesthetic purposes, and they're not really utilized. But pretty cool nonetheless. And here we have the compact folding drone. So here's how it looks when it's compacted. And you can fold this out in any direction. So that's pretty cool. And inside it has its battery. And I believe down here we have the instruction manuals and a brochure for the app. So pretty cool. So now let's organize all this and take a closer look at the contents of the box. Now, taking a last look at the contents of the box, we have the drone itself. Inside the drone we have its 3.7 volt 1000 milliamp LiPo battery, 4 spare propellers, a screwdriver, spare screws, 4 landing legs that you attach, 4 propeller guards, the transmitter, the USB charge cable for the drone's battery, and the instruction manual and brochures. So now let's take a closer look at the drone. Now, taking a closer look at the drone, this is a very sleek looking drone that highly resembles a new DJI Mavic Air, as you can see. And it's nice and compact and lightweight. And right here in the front it has its 90-degree tilting 720p HD wide-angle lens camera, and this model does come in a 640p and a 1080p camera. Right here in the front you'll see both its headlights, and in terms of lights it basically has this rear red light here and these 2 front headlights, so no lights on the legs. So okay for orientation, but possibly could have been a little better. This is a brushed motor quadcopter, And it does have these little landing leg or skid attachments here that you simply just wedge in there. So they're little plastic pieces that you just simply snap into place, and they give you 4 little landing legs, which are pretty good. And as you can see, this is a folding quadcopter, and you can fold it starting with any direction. So if you want to fold the rear legs first, you just fold them like this at the bottom, and then you would fold the front ones like so. Now notice that with the little attachments, it doesn't quite go all the way, or it's a little obstructed there, as you can see. But it does work here, as you can see there. It's a little awkward having the little landing legs, so you definitely should remove those to fold it. But once you have those removed, it definitely folds a lot nicer. But yeah, you can fold this in any, starting with any legs, either from the front or the back. It doesn't really matter. But as you saw, the rear legs do fold downwards, while the front legs just fold to the side like that. So kind of an interesting design there. And this quadcopter does not take any SD card. It looks like there was space there for an SD card slot, but it really just leads to electronics there. There's really no true SD card slot in there. So you definitely don't want to insert one in there because you might lose it. But all the video footage taken from this quadcopter is recorded directly to your mobile device, which unfortunately may give some lag and interference. While if there was onboard storage, like an SD card or something, you'd have smoother, higher frame rate video. So that's a little unfortunate there. As you can see here, there's its antenna, its Wi-Fi antenna. And right here is its battery. It has a 3.7 volt, 1000 milliamp LiPo battery here. And it does have a proprietary charger right here. So basically what you do is right here in this little port, you just insert this, and then it's red, and then there's a red light, and then when you charge it, it's turned off, and then it'll indicate that it's fully charged. Now the battery does take around an hour to 90 minutes to charge, and it does provide the quadcopter with like a 10 or 11 minute flight time. So not too bad there. And right here is its on-off button. So you would just simply press that, keep it pressed, and it will activate the quadcopter. And then you just press it again to turn it off. And that's essentially it. The propeller guards are real easy to just snap on. And to remove the propellers and install them again, you have to simply unscrew that screw in the middle. And there are 4 extra spare screws that come with this package. And that's essentially it for the drone. So now let's take a closer look at its transmitter. Now, taking a closer look at the transmitter, this is a very compact, sleek looking transmitter that highly resembles some of the newer DJI transmitters, like for the Mavic Air, and Spark. In the back, it does take 3 AA batteries, like so, 3 AA batteries. And going over the controls a little bit, right here in the center is its on-off button. And to bind it to the quadcopter, you simply push the left throttle stick up and down. And of course, this is the left throttle stick and right rudder stick. This is the auto takeoff button, the auto land button. These arrows here are the directional trims. And then right here at the top, we have this button right here is either for headless mode, or if you long press it, it will do a 1-key return. This button right here is supposedly the photo and video button. So if you long press it, it should start recording video. If you short press it, it will take pictures. But if you have the Wi-Fi version of this quadcopter, it could be that this is inactive. This is the flips button. So when you push that, you should hear some beeps. And then you could move the rudder in the direction you want the quadcopter to flip. And last but not least, this is the rates button. So you have 3 rates of speed. So that's essentially it for the controller. It is very comfortable and well constructed. The antennas are foldable, but unfortunately these look like aesthetic antennas. They're not really utilized. But the quadcopter still gets around 100 to 150 meters worth of range. And down here, you will find the portion where you can put your mobile device or cell phone right here at the bottom. And as you can see, it's pretty spacious for a big cell phone, but definitely not a large tablet. So that's essentially it for the transmitter. Now let's take a closer look at setting this up for a first-time flight and its app. Now setting up for a first-time flight is pretty straightforward. Once you have a fully charged battery inserted in the drone and fresh batteries inserted into the transmitter, you first want to turn on the drone by pushing its on-off button right here at the top and keeping it pressed. Once you see the lights blink, you want to turn on the transmitter like that. And then you want to bind the transmitter to the drone by putting the left throttle stick up and down, like so. At that point, you should see the lights go solid. Next, it is recommended to calibrate the gyros. So with the quadcopter still and not moving on a flat level surface at the ground level, you simply want to move the left throttle stick and right rudder stick down and out, like so. And you should see a quick series of blinks, and then it'll go solid. At that point, you're bound. The gyros have been calibrated. And then now you just have to simply connect to the app so that you have your Wi-Fi feed. Now, one quick note on this model that I received. I did notice that calibrating the gyros did have the drone offset, and so it tended to drift to the right and back. And so I always had to trim it out. So hopefully that was just an issue with my model. But I noticed that when you calibrate the gyros on a flat level surface with this drone, it's not perfectly level. So just something I wanted to note there. So now let's connect to the drone's Wi-Fi and look at the app. So once in your mobile device's Wi-Fi settings, you want to look for an entry that says HTS dash, and it'll have a serial number, and you want to connect to that. And initially there is no default Wi-Fi password, so you simply connect to this HTS Wi-Fi entry, and that'll connect to the drone. And then at that point you can launch this app right here, which is HTUFO, right here, HTUFO, and that's in either the iOS or Android app stores. And so you would launch that. And initially you will enter this screen right here, and right here on the left there's some help documentation for the app, and then right here on the right there's some settings here on 720p interface preview, SD card setup capacity, but unfortunately this model doesn't have an SD card, so none of that will apply. Software version, so on and so forth. But the main one you want to enter is this one right here, the one in the center. And right there, you'll see right away, you can see we have a live feed here with the drone, as you can see. And the Wi-Fi FPV range with this is somewhere around 50 to 100 meters. So that's the FPV range right there. But now going over the app a bit, this button right here will take you back to the main menu. This one will take pictures, this one will take video, this one will open your photo gallery so you could see all your saved pictures and videos. This one right here on the right will turn on your virtual control so that you can fly the drone with the mobile device. So flying it with the transmitter is optional. So once you turn this on right here, you will have the virtual controls here, and you do have the option of flying it with or without altitude hold. So you'll notice that the throttle is all the way to the bottom there, and so if you use this center button right here, this will give you altitude hold and will center the left throttle stick. And then right here, this is your rates button. So this is your first rate, which is the green. Then now you have yellow, which is your intermediate speed. And then you have red, which is the highest speed. And then this button right here will allow you to fly it in accelerometer mode. So once you do that, tilting the device will allow the quadcopter to move just simply by tilting your cell phone. And then going over the controls here, you simply have your throttle and rudder, and you have your trims here on all the sides. Here's your auto takeoff, auto land, your emergency stop, voice control. So if you give it simple commands like forward or backward, left and right, it will fly in those directions. This should perform your 360 flips. And right here on the upper right, there's some more controls here. This will put it in 3D goggle mode or FPV mode, so you can put the mobile device in a FPV goggle and then fly that way through FPV. This will reverse the video feed, so if you want to flip it upside down, you're free to do that. I believe this one turns on and off the lights on the quadcopter. This one will allow you to draw waypoints, so you can actually draw a pattern there and the quadcopter will fly that pattern. And then this one, I believe, will calibrate the gyros. This one is headless mode, and then this is the one key return, I believe. So those are essentially the controls there. Overall, a neat little flyer. Unfortunately, since it doesn't have an SD card, the video is just simply a live stream and sometimes can be choppy and not have the best frame rate. And as I noticed with this particular model that I received, the calibrated gyros leaves the quadcopter a bit unlevel, so I always have to trim it out, while other ones simply perfectly balance out once you trim the gyros. So just two things I noticed there, but aside from that, once everything's trimmed out and flying, it is a nice little flyer and pretty fun. So now let's take her for a flight and see how she performs.